Adam Wainwright's first start of the regular season happened right here in Houston at Minute Maid Park against the Astros. That night, a win. So far this season, Wainwright is 4-4. On the other side tonight, one of the game's best, but he has struggled against the Cardinals. Roy Oswalt, Wainwright, Oswalt, Astros, Cardinals next. Houston, Texas at Minute Maid Park, and tonight it is game number 1 of a 3-game series between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Houston Astros. Both these teams with 22 wins on the season, and both have struggled out of the gate in 2007. Some Cardinal fans in attendance tonight, and a big crowd is expected. Welcome inside the broadcast booth with my partner Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. The Cardinals earn a split against Colorado. And now when you take a look at these two teams, basically since 1996, they have been 1-2 in this division. But this year, a little different story.
Well, both of them, for whatever reason, have struggled offensively. They have fine pitching staffs. Cardinals are a little bit different. Astros have their really good starter, and we're going to see Oswalt tonight. But as you said, Berkman has kind of struggled like Albert has at times, and they're really trying to get things together. The Astros just stopped their 10-game losing streak last night by scoring 10 runs, so we don't know what we're going to expect. Adam
Wainwright will go for the St. Louis Cardinals, and for Houston, it will be Roy Oswalt, their ace. His career against the Cardinals, you might think it'd be a little bit better record. It's 8-5 in our Ford Key.
Well, he's won his last 3, but I mean, this guy has just a tremendous winning percentage. And so, you know, he just goes out there and just dominates against everybody. So really, the Cardinals have hit him fairly well.
Not in the lineup last night, Albert Pujols. That's not the case tonight. Big Albert is in there. Pujols in the middle of the lineup. The Cardinals and Astros coming up in game 1. Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. By Auto Tire, the tire pros. For the lowest bottom line price, you ought to go to Auto Tire. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Southwest Airlines, with more flights to more places than ever before, Southwest is taking low fares farther. Visit southwest.com. Back at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. One of the game's best on the mound tonight in Roy Oswalt. And here is David Eckstein. Good to see him back in the lineup, partner.
Good to see him, but now he has to face one of the best right-handers in the game.
And Eckstein hits it down the right field line. That is going to be caught on a nice running play by Luke Scott in right field.
Tough play right out of the chute, and a tough break for David Eckstein as Luke Scott made a fine running catch.
Cardinals lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Eckstein, Spezio, and Pujols here in the first inning. Then Edmonds, Roland, Encarnacion, Bennett, Kennedy, and Wainwright. Against Oswalt, Spezio, some pretty good numbers with 5 hits in his career. Our Rico starter is Roy Oswalt.
I see 6 wins on the season. He's lost his last 2, but since joining the major leagues, he's tied for the most wins in the major leagues with 104 wins. 2-time All-Star, 29 years of age, and just a dominant pitcher.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. 82 miles an hour, no balls and 2 strikes.
And you're going to find that he is not going to challenge Spezio with a fastball. He's a fastball pitcher. About everybody in the lineup, because of the success Spezio had, and a guy that looks dead red, we'll keep on throwing him off-speed pitches, you know, the changeup, the splitter, slow curveball, trying to do something not to give him that fastball.
Oswalt a year ago was 15-8 with a 2.98 ERA. The 1-2 pitch. Spezio hits it up the middle on one hop. Good shortstop here. Adam Everett makes the play. Auto Tire defense behind the Houston right-hander tonight. Around the horn brought to you by Auto Tire. Lee, Pence, and Scott in the outfield. Ensberg, Everett, Biggio, and Berkman along the infield. And Brad Ausmus is behind the plate. Some boos for the man digging in tonight. 3rd spot in this lineup, and that is Albert Pujols. For the most part, he had the night off last night. Came in late as a defensive replacement.
It was his first day off of the season and starting to wear down a little bit.
These two teams know each other so well.
And it's amazing how much respect these players have for each other. It's a kind of a built-in rivalry because of the success they've had against each other, but it's not a fighting rivalry. It's a respectful one.
Not the Yankees, Red Sox.
Not Dodgers, Giants.
Right.
Not even the Cubs and Cardinals.
Well, the Cubs have.
They're fighting amongst themselves.
Right, their own fights to deal with, much less fighting the other team. He missed it. Carlos Zambrano went after his catcher today, Michael Barrett, as Pujols grounds it to short. And those two had a fight in the dugout. Low throw picked over there by Berkman. 1-2-3 inning for Oswalt. Half inning in the books, and there's no score. Phil Garner, the manager of the Astros, took over back in 2004. Almost got that team to the World Series. And then in 05, he got them there. Last year, they were still alive in the final weekend of the regular season. Astros lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Biggio, Pence, and Berkman. Of course, Craig Biggio at 2,977 hits. Lee, Scott Ensberg, Everett Osmus, and Oswalt. Our advanced auto parts starter, Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals. His first start of the season was right here in Houston. He won that game. Overall, he is 4-4.
And Dan, he's making his third start against the Astros this year. He's won both previous starts, one here in Houston, one at home at Minute Maid. He's 1-0 with an ERA under 3 in 5 games and that one start.
2,977 for Craig Biggio. The chase for 3,000.
Become the 27th player to reach the 3,000 hit plateau. He had 3 hits last night.
Average at 240, 3 home runs, 17 RBIs. 0-1 pitch. No balls and 2 strikes.
Just watch Adams' mannerisms, and you know he's feeling better about himself. Feels like he has his curveball back, and I think he's through that little dead arm stage he had, and he's got a little more life to his fastball.
Mentioned the 3 hits he had last night. Craig Biggio hit career double number 653 last night, and he is 5 away from 6th place all time in that department. Just missing on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
There's no doubt it's going to be a Hall of Fame career for Biggio. I just start looking at the different names he's passing. They're all Hall of Famers.
Here is a 1-2. Backing up Adam Kennedy on the outfield grass, and he's got it for the first out. Biggio retired to start this game for Adam Wainwright. Wainwright, it's really been an up and down season now. I mean, at times, and even inside his games, it's up and down, because at times he looks just magnificent, and other times it looks like his mechanics are out of whack.
Well, and I think that's partly because, you know, he kind of was a mechanical flaw. He was spinning off his pitches. He wasn't reaching out, finishing them off. He was kind of in between his slider and his curveball.
1 out, nobody on for Hunter Pence, and he hits it down the left field line. That's trouble, and it's a fair ball into the corner. And Pence will stop at second base. He has given this lineup a little jolt since he was called up, and you and I just had a chance to fill out our rookie and players of the month and pitchers of the month, and he is my player of the month for the rookies in the National League.
Well, you couldn't go wrong with him, but he is very aggressive. Went to University of Texas Arlington, just up the road here, and he's kind of a throwback. I was talking to Sean Berry about him. He said in the minor leagues, Pence used to get mad at him. He said, you know, why do you never bring me out for early batting practice? He said, you're hitting 330. Well, the only thing I could do is mess you up. Just do what you're doing. But he's a very likable young man. He's got a smile on his face. He's just enjoying every minute.
Hard to believe when you look up and you see that Lance Berkman is only hitting 244. 1 out and a runner at second base. Off to a slow start.
Big 3-run home run last night to kind of put the game away, but you're right.
That home run was his 6th on the year, and against the Cincinnati Reds in that series, he went 1 for 11.
And he is the Astros' Albert Pujols. He's that good a hitter.
Four-time All-Star. Finished third in the National League MVP voting a year ago. He hit .315 and he had 45 home runs. And a club record 136 driven in. A terrific year. Eckstein trying to keep Pinch, the runner at second, a little closer to the bag. And with Berkman up, that shift is on many times anyway.
Yeah, we normally put the shift on, but I think this year, because he's not quite the same hitter, you don't have as dramatic as a shift on him. And he's still got Rowan on that side, but Rowan used to play about shortstop positioning, and the shortstop, David Eckstein, would be either behind the bag or even shading the first base side of second.
3-0 the count on Berkman. On the outside corner for strike one.
Cedarstrom, the home plate umpire, looked like it was a bit wide. Bennett pulled it back and framed it, and Adam got the benefit of the call.
Cedarstrom behind home plate. Lance Barksdale at first. Adrian Johnson at second. Jim Reynolds over at third. Same pitch. That's a strike. 3-2.
It was a changeup, but it was up in the zone. And you know, when you're struggling like Berkman, instead of reacting to pitches, you know, you're just kind of you're a little tentative, and then you'll kind of get over anxious trying to make up the lost ground in production. So you're kind of caught in between. But it's only a matter of time before he starts hitting.
On deck, Carlos Lee. 3-2 pitch. Tied him up in a foul tip. Carlos Lee is off to a good start with 10 homers, 48 RBIs, and he is providing protection for Berkman.
Oh, absolutely. Carlos Lee, El Caballo, leads the major leagues in RBIs. Biggio was telling me before the game that if Berkman doesn't hit, their offense doesn't go.
Win last night for the Astros that snapped a losing streak of 10 straight games. Wainwright is finally set. And a 3-2 pitch. Curveball, and he struck him out. He's got to tag him out with first base open. He does. There's 2 outs and the first strikeout for Wainwright tonight.
Boy, that was the yellow hammer. Threw a couple sliders in the sequence, but now all of a sudden a yacker. And that's the one that we missed earlier in the season with the inconsistency. Because Adam, like last year, when he missed with that curveball, it was bouncing. And so, you know, you get hitters to swing at it, they could be fooled by it. It's been more of a roller at times this year.
Carlos Lee from Panama. He signed through 2012. $100 million contract.
I saw the curveball there that kind of stayed up and rolled.
One ball and no strikes on Carlos Lee. 48 RBIs on the season. Runner at second is Hunter Pence after his double down the left field line. Two balls and no strikes. Since 2003, only Vladimir Guerrero and Alex Rodriguez and Carlos Lee have had 120 homers, 400 plus RBIs, and 50 steals. You forget about El Caballo and stealing a base. He can do that. Big body, doesn't matter. He's picked up some stolen bases in his career.
When he was with Milwaukee, Cardinal pitchers really contained him. Had an example of that. Carlos Lee is 0 for 5 lifetime against Wainwright.
See where Bennett and Wainwright just can't get together here on this pitch. The 2-0. Outside. Might as well just be pitching around Carlos Lee. You've got Luke Scott on deck. First base open. Might be the better move anyway.
Well, 0 for 5 is Carlos Lee. Luke Scott 3 for 6. First inning. Just don't groove one, but you get him out.
And that is ball 4. First walk issued by Adam Wainwright here in the first inning. Tonight's telecast from FSN Midwest is available in high definition. Contact your cable or satellite provider for more information. You can see it in HD on Charter Communications channel 792 in the St. Louis area and on Dish Network channel 368. Beautiful high definition Cardinal baseball tonight. Our next telecast on FSN Midwest will be Tuesday from Busch Stadium. Two outs, 2 runners on, and the pitch is taken low and in by Scott. Luke Scott is hitting .234 with 4 homers and 26 RBIs. These two rivals are meeting for the 3rd time this season and will not face each other again until the very end of August. And Bennett calls time and wants to visit with Adam Wainwright. Pitched count here in the first inning is at 18. That total for Adam. Cardinals are without Chris Duncan again tonight. He is back home in St. Louis, resting his knee. The Cardinals have elected not to put him on the disabled list, and General Manager Walt Jocketty was saying before the game that Duncan could be available either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week.
They were hoping that he would be make a trip to Houston, but that sounds very doubtful.
Sonic pitch count at 18. Runners at first and second.
Bennett out there just trying to rein him back into the strike zone. More balls than strikes. Now Luke Scott will kind of play the cat and mouse game. Step out. He'll try and dictate the pace.
A 2-0 pitch. 3-0. On deck, Morgan Ensberg. One thing about Wainwright, when he was in that reliever's rollout, great control, not many walks, and he got the ball and just said, here we go. Right back to the mound, towed the rubber, got a sign, and then pitched. And to me, I think he seems a lot more deliberate in this role.
Well, and you know, we talked about it last year that, you know, he was not going to be able to be that bulldog coming in for 1 inning, maximum 2 innings. He could go out there and just have that stern look on his face, really attack hitters. But as a starter, you can't use that much energy if you're going to try and go 6 and 7 innings.
Ball 4. Back-to-back walks and the bases are loaded.
Lost his last start, but pitched very effectively, 7 innings. Just 2 hits allowed. He did not walk a man while striking out 6.
Two outs and the bases loaded for Morgan Ensberg, hitting just .231. Third-team All-American when he was in college at USC. He belted 40 career home runs in college, just behind McGuire, Jeff Jenkins, and Eric Munson. Curveball, and that's a strike.
Buckled the knees. The next 3 batters for Adam are 2 for 20. And there's that big looping curveball right there, but kind of a get-ahead breaking ball. When he throws his good one, he buries it down. Bennett catch it below the knees.
Down season a year ago for Ensberg. He had .235. And this one has popped up behind home plate. No balls and 2 strikes. The year before, Ensberg was an all-star. And during the all-star break, as his club had finished up a game, Tony La Russa had to call him. He was on his way to the airport, take that time off because he had not been officially added to the roster until there was an injury, and Ensberg got the call and participated in his first and only All-Star game.
Not mistaken, it was the injury with Starola.
Correct. Got him. Struck him out. 2 strikeouts in the inning. And the Astros strand the bases loaded. Coming up for the Cardinals, Edmonds, Roland, and Encarnacion. No score after 1. This State in Baseball history brought to you by Schnucks. Yankee Lou Gehrig pinch hits for Pee Wee Wanninger, beginning his streak of playing in 2,130 consecutive games. June 1st, 1925. Of course, that record broken by future Hall of Famer Cal Ripken. And the current Ironman, I believe, is Miguel Tejada.
I think you're right there. Considerably. Close to 2,000 games less.
Right. Edmonds is heating it up. 5 home runs. No balls, 2 strikes. 5 home runs, 18 RBIs, and the average close now to 250.
Now, true test is if he can sustain it against a guy that he struggled against, Oswalt.
Jimmy has hit 4 home runs in his last 6 starts. And he's had at least 1 hit in 12 of his last 17 games.
You know, Oswalt, you know, we've talked about in the past the groin and leg problems. He's not very big, but he has a stride of about a 6'4" pitcher. He really stretches out there.
See where he gets that drive from his back leg, and so many great pitchers have done that before. You think of Tom Seaver.
Tom Seaver, and you get a lot of your velocity comes from your leg drive.
A ball and 2 strikes on Edmonds. Little upstairs. Let's go back to the delivery here of Roy Oswalt.
He's not very big, but watch him stride out there. A huge stride for a little guy, and that's where sometimes he gets the groin problems.
Good pitch.
And he is about as good as they get for mound presence for a starter. Get the ball very quickly, releases it, and with great confidence that he can attack the strike zone.
He is 6 foot 185. Edmonds hits it fouling out of play. Stays 3-2.
He was younger. He was, like most pitchers, really liked strikeouts, but now it's all about pitching to contact. And you see that stride there. That's like a. I bet we could probably. Adam Wainwright probably isn't much further out on the mound than he is.
And the 3-2 is hit out to left center field. Pretty well hit. Pence is going back along with Lee, and it's going to be Cardinals lead. That's that little area out there that's a tough position to be in for the left fielder because they have to avoid the wall.
And right there at the corner of the scoreboard, probably about 350, 340, maybe even 345, but you can see the 362 sign behind Carlos as he jet back to the bullpen area. So just one of those odd angles created by the very popular Crawford boxes.
You love the Crawford boxes.
They're very popular to offensive players.
And you'd think it would be a right-handed batter, and certainly they like him, but lefties like Berkman and Edmonds with opposite field power, it's kind of flip the wrists and the ball just jumps off their bat.
Yeah, I mean, you can, in other ballparks, you could pitch a left-handed hitter out away and just try and get him to roll over a little bit or just throw a little fly ball, but they hit one 320, it could be off the wall or a home run.
Slowly hit to the second baseman, Biggio. 2 outs. That's 5 up and 5 down to start this game for Roy Oswalt. Just saw a shot of Craig Biggio. Remember, he started as a catcher. He's played second base. He's played center. He's moved back to second. He's been all over the place.
Talking with Osmus and Biggio, and I said, how would you guys hit against Oswalt? They said, well, one we know we wouldn't hit.
He's that good.
I mean, he's 104 and 51 in his career.
All-time leader in wins inside this ballpark. Got 59 here at Minute Maid Park. One-0 pitch to Juan Encarnacion. 1 ball, 1 strike. Oswalt is signed through 2011. trying to elevate up in the zone a little bit. Strike 2 on Encarnacion, who had the big hit of the game in Denver last night with the bases loaded and 2 outs and a double to right center that scored 3. After that, he was brought in by Gary Bennett, who's on deck. Cardinals had picked up their first lead of the night. Brad Thompson took care of the rest. Look at that curveball. Oof, nasty stuff. 6 up, 6 down. And a nasty breaking ball from Roy Oswalt to Juan Encarnacion on the outside corner. His first strikeout of the night. Midway through 2, and there's no score. Coming up later tonight here on FSN, it's the FSN Final Score with all the scores from around the major leagues, preview of the NBA and the National Hockey League. All right, that is Jane Mee. Left, Brian Mee, son and wife of our director, Tom Mee. He's an Astros fan. And we still put him on camera. Adam Everett will lead it off for the Astros, the shortstop, who is struggling again offensively. We saw them back in St. Louis. He was hitting under 200. This year he's at 214. The reason that he plays, Al, is that he can pick it. He is terrific defensively. Matter of fact, last year played 150 games and only committed 7 errors.
He's starting to come out of it. He has a 5-game hitting streak and hitting better than 470 during that time. But you're right. The way he plays defense, he's going to stay out there every day.
No balls and 2 strikes. Wainwright was able to strand the bases loaded in the bottom of the first as he struck out Ensberg. He has struck out 2 tonight.
Threw 24 pitches in that first inning.
The 0-2 curveball and a strikeout. Number 3 on the night. We finish up this road trip here in Houston. Off day on Monday. Then Tuesday night, Cincinnati is in town. Ken Griffey Jr. 300 box seats are still available. Standing room only. Also check out the Prime Seat Club, the best way to get your seats. June 5th, 6th, and 7th. And then on the weekend dates, the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th, the Angels are in town. And Saturday is U.S. Cellular Cap Night. 25,000 fans ages 16 and over get that cap. Compliments of U.S. Cellular. A check swing and a foul ball. The bat of Osmus. Osmus this season hitting .235. These two teams kind of mirror each other in how they've started the season now. Both teams having sluggers that are struggling. Not so much anymore with Pujols, but certainly with Berkman only hitting .244 at the start of play tonight. And offenses that can't generate a lot of runs.
I was talking with Brad Osmus during batting practice, and Jim Edmonds came over and said, "You still hitting 400?" And he goes, "No, I'm about 235. And Jimmy kind of said, "Well, that's not too bad." It wasn't that bad a week ago, talking about himself.
2-1 is hit out to center field, and Edmonds is there. A line out off the bat of Brad Osmus. 2 down, nobody on for the pitcher Oswalt. Osmus received the Good Guy of the Year award back in 2006, which is the Darryl Kyle Good Guy of the Year award. Bagwell has won that. Oswalt, Ensberg, and Lidge. So many people here in the state of Texas around the Houston Astros remember DK fondly, as well as folks back home in St. Louis. Three for 24 on the year for Oswalt.
Much better than that in his lifetime against pitching.
Right down central. That's strike 2. Cardinals had to start a play tonight, 22-29. The Astros 22-31. That misses on the outside corner. Roy Oswalt tonight trying to pick up his 7th win on the year. 6-4. Out to right field. Encarnacion there makes the catch. Astros go 1-2-3. 3rd inning coming up. 7, 8, 9 in the order for St. Louis, and there's no score. We had a chance to check out a Cardinals party room. They are ideal for entertaining clients, employees, or friends. One great price includes beer, soda, snacks, and a great view of the game. Party rooms are on sale now, and a premium date for you is still available. STLCardinals.com to find out more, or 345-9500. Gary Bennett, Adam Kennedy, and Adam Wainwright, 7, 8, and 9 in this lineup. Bennett is hitting .250, but coming off a 3-hit night in Denver last night.
He hits a couple RBIs. Good to see him in the mix there. He'll get the bulk of the playing time while Yadier is out. This is his 14th start of the game, and caught every inning since Tuesday in the 4th inning when Molina had to come out of that with a fractured wrist. I asked him, I said, if I grab your thighs, is it going to hurt? And he goes, nah, maybe in about 3 or 4 more days, but not now.
Nasty breaking ball again from Oswalt. He has struck out 1 on the night. Cardinals have gone 6 up and 6 down to start this game.
He's got that very good curveball, and he can throw it at different speeds, but you've got to look for the fastball off him, because he will throw you the fastball.
Trying to go inside, and they jam him just a bit. Popped up to the shortstop, Adam Everett. The other thing about Oswalt, Al, is that he works so quickly, and David Eckstein was talking about this during the pregame show. You have to make a conscious effort to slow yourself down, step out of the box, and try to disrupt his timing just a bit.
Yeah, you fall into a pattern as a hitter, letting him dictate the pace, because many times you're not going to be quite ready. So the old Mike Hargrove, the human rain delay, where you got 1 foot in the box and 1 foot out, calling semi-time. But he didn't take much time to get his signal and throw. Changeup. Adam Kennedy's had little success against him. 2 hits and 3 plate appearances.
It's out of play and foul. One ball and 2 strikes.
Not a bad 23rd round selection.
Not at all. Woof. Sometimes it looks like his ball is actually rising on these fastballs. That one was kind of an indication of that.
He can throw it at good velocity, and he can hit his spots. He'll give you that assortment of off-speed pitches, and then when he explodes the fastball, throw it right by you.
94 miles an hour. From a guy that weighs well below 200 pounds.
Maybe the 6 foot's a little generous too.
1-1.
He can throw the 2-seam, the 4-seam. Talking with Osmus, he said, when I first came up, you either had a 2-seamer or a 4-seamer. Now everyone has both.
Curveball that's hit left side, and that's a base hit. The first hit of the night is from Adam Wainwright, and it looked like Ensberg gave up on the play, and in doing so, Everett had 2.
He deked his shortstop, I think. The old rule of thumb that third baseman takes every ball he can get to, and it looked like that. Ensberg went to his left, and then all of a sudden short-armed it, gave up on it, and I think Adam Everett, the shortstop, assumed that his third baseman was going to flag it down. But we also know that Wainwright can help himself swinging the bat.
Back to the top of this lineup. Here's Eckstein. Fly to right first time up.
Now you look at Luke Scott, the right fielder. You can see why he was able to track that fly ball just right on the foul line first time up, as he shades David to the right field corner.
And that's a base hit for Eckstein. Back-to-back singles for the Cardinals here in the third. Wainwright, David Eckstein, and it brings in Spezio.
David missed those 5 games with a sore back, so he get a first assignment as you get the hit off of Oswalt. 1 for 2 in the first one. He took a great catch by the right fielder to contain him. He is 9 for 26. Showed that Spezio was 5 for 12 with a home run coming in. Let's see if it's true to form. Hal McRae believes that, particularly now with a couple guys on, that Oswalt will try to get him out with a slow breaking ball. Won't try and give him the fastball.
Spezio, first time up, grounded out to the shortstop. So many times you see Scott Spezio first pitch swinging at fastballs.
Well, yeah, he's looking for the fastball, first ball, fastball hitter. Sometimes that's the pitch you give a guy who's a first ball fastball, but you don't make it in the strike zone.
Long look here by Oswalt. He's set. Now steps off. Sonic pitch count at 38 for Roy Oswalt with 2 outs here in the top of the third. First and second, 2 outs. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes with Albert Pujols on deck. I mean, Pujols has taken BP. He gets booed when he comes to Houston. I mean, they're screaming at him.
He almost hurt their train. Almost knocked it off the rail.
Here's a grounder that Biggio will backhand. Wide throw, but staying on the bag, Lance Berkman. Speaking of Biggio, statue outside. His career here in Houston began in 1988. When we come back, we'll take a look back. 0-2-0 for St. Louis, 0-1-0 for Houston. Leadoff man for the Astros in their half of the third will be Craig Biggio. His 20th season. A .282 career hitter, 2,977 hits in his career. He's also closing in on 300 home runs and darn near 1,200 RBIs.
Remember the controversy in spring training, the little yellow star he wears on his hat during batting practice.
The Sunshine Kid's house.
Right. Well, Major League Baseball, some executive saw that, said, oh, you can't do that, can't wear that. They got so much attention and publicity.
Popped up, almost hits the roof. Who wants it? Then in foul territory.
And so many people were so upset. He would just wear it during batting practice, and as he said, he's helped raise over $2.2 million for these kids with cancer and their families. They've refurbished him. He's furnished the Sunshine House. He has a game here with the kids and their family where he's the pitcher. All these cancer patients come out, and now Major League Baseball has rescinded that, and they allow him to wear that star during batting practice.
Sonic pitch count at 37, and to follow up your point there, Al, he started doing this because of what happened when he was a young kid. His desire to help combat childhood cancer stems from a firsthand experience that he had. He was a 12-year-old, and his neighbor, an 11-year-old, had a paper route, died of leukemia, and it stuck with him all the way through the major leagues.
He's a good guy.
Sure is. Here's Hunter Pence, who doubled down the left field line his first time up. He plays with a little flair, a little fire, just like Craig Biggio.
Said he's a very engaging young man, very happy, and just smile on his face being here at the big league level.
Nothing at 2 the count on Pence.
2 for 4 with his double here tonight off of Adam Wainwright. Called up in late April.
Another curveball, just got a piece. Some of these curveballs tonight have been a little bit better than the others.
Yeah, as I said last year, you know, he primarily was a curveball pitcher. But when it became evident in the second half that he was going to go into rotation, he started throwing more sliders. Now he starts this season, and kind of after the first very good start he had here in Houston, he kind of got in between. He kind of lost the good 12-6 curveball, had more of a slurve or a roller up there. A little mechanical flaw that he's kind of corrected was back has a tilt.
Strikeout with the curveball. 4 on the night.
And he has a tilt now to where he gets on that downward plane. He's going to stay on top of the curveball and gets the 12-6 instead of kind of rolling a roller or spinning off and not staying on top of his pitches.
Berkman struck out his first time up. Wainwright got out of a jam back in the first inning. He had the bases loaded after walking 2 in that inning and giving up the double to Pence. Struck out Morgan Ensberg. 4 on the night now for the Cardinal right-hander. 2 outs and nobody on.
So you just see that Berkman, even though he's hit .318 this year, where he's, you know, hitting .243, he's hit .318 against Cardinal pitching. He's just indecisive. For him to take a fastball on the first pitch right down the middle, that's not Lance Berkman.
Curveball, and that misses up and away. 2 balls and a strike.
It's a pitch you got to be careful with. A guy like Berkman can just throw the bat at it and throw it into the Crawford boxes. That breaking ball that's up and away.
Berkman, just like Pence, a native Texan. He is from Austin, Texas.
Another fastball down the middle that he takes.
On a 2-1 count, too.
Yeah, and Sean Barry and I were talking. He said, you know, you can tell a pitcher, you can say, hey, Berkman's not swinging good. You know, don't worry about him. But everybody knows who Lance Berkman is, and these pitchers think he's hitting 400.
Rounder hit to the second baseman. Adam Kennedy. Wide throw, and Pujols stays on the bag. Adam Wainwright has struck out 4 tonight. This one with a curveball to Hunter Pence. No score after 3. First pitch to Pujols was fouled back. We're in the top of the 4th, and there's no score. St. Louis and Houston. Albert grounded out to short his first time up. Pujols, Edmonds, and then we'll see So Taguchi. Scott Rowland has been taken out of this game with a sore hamstring. That's a fair ball down into the corner. Pujols 1 for 2 on the night. The Cardinals pick up their 3rd hit.
See that Oswalt was having a little trouble with Oswalt seeing the pitch, and so he took it and really showed the curveball was going to be on his chest protector, rather than between his legs, and then he kind of hung the ball up there.
See if Edmonds can't bring him in, or at least move Pujols from second to third. So if he didn't catch that, Scott rolling out with a sore hamstring.
Yeah, it kind of started bothering him yesterday and after first plate appearance. So Spezio moved from third base, or excuse me, from left field to third, and Taguchi is in there now.
A bunt by Edmonds. Osmus quickly to first. They just get him. Pujols lines up at third. It's a wild throw, and he will score. An error over there at first base, and Pujols crosses the plate to make it 1-0. A bunt by Edmonds. He was thrown out, and then Pujols was a little bit hesitant advancing from second to third, and that's why we had a play at third.
Well, it took a while, and you see his legs looks a little sore, like he didn't want to push it.
Initially, when I saw this, I thought he might beat it out.
Yeah, but then you saw where Albert waited And as soon as Oswalt got the ball, turned his body to throw to first base, that's when Albert left. And Berkman throws the ball away, his 5th error, and the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead.
First plate appearance of the night for So Taguchi.
Could be like the other night when we're down to 1 guy left.
Could happen.
You know, even you never know about Albert when he hit the ball down the corner, and it's such a short porch there in left field that you knew he wasn't going to get more than 2. But I mean, he wasn't really sprinting around the bases either. Looked like protecting his legs, but he sure didn't look like that when he was coming around to score. But you see now Barry even talking to him.
Taguchi hits it down the right field line. Over to get it, Luke Scott, and he makes a catch. Very fine play by Luke Scott in right field.
Second nice play made. This time he bangs his ribs as he goes up against the stands. And his padded railing just hit right around the rib cage. He felt that one.
Encarnacion struck out his first time up. A hanging breaking ball that's bounced to Morgan Ensberg. Cardinals grab an early lead thanks to the error by Berkman. That allowed Pujols to score, and it's 1-0 midway through the 4th. This portion of Cardinal baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. By Rico. Move your ideas with Rico dependability. And by Carrabba's. Good things happen around our table. Back at Minute Maid Park, the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead thanks to the error by Berkman. Pujols would score. 1-0 St. Louis, and Wainwright back to work. 1-3-0 for St. Louis. 0-1-1 for the Astros. The only trouble that Wainwright has had tonight was back in the first when he walked 2 back-to-back. That would load the bases up, and then he got Ensberg. Threw a lot of pitches in that first inning, but that'll help. One pitch, 1 out.
Yeah, now he's retired 8 in a row.
Carlos Lee 0 for 1 with a walk. And here is Luke Scott.
Had a statistic up there on Carlos Lee, a little redundant, but he hits 130. He hits 333 with the bases empty, with 6 home runs and 6 RBIs.
Right.
A little redundant.
Luke Scott walked his first time up. Fastball at the knees for strike 1.
I'm starting to get in a little bit of a groove right now, and good to see.
Talked with our buddy Mark Walsh this afternoon. Feeling a lot better. Yeah, he says he feels great. Hopefully he'll stop by the ballpark next homestand, and then we head out on the road after that. But the homestand after that one, so 2 away, he'll be back at work.
Good.
And everything seems to be going very well for him. We miss seeing him around, believe me. 2 outs. Coming up later tonight, the Best Damn Sports Show period. They call it the greatest nightly sports show on television. Quentin Rampage Jackson will check in. You know who that is?
Oh, sure.
Hugh Hefner and the girls next door. I know you know who they are. Paul Pierce will be there. The Best Damn Sports Show period. Quentin Rampage Jackson was the ultimate fighting.
That's what I thought he was, the ultimate fighter.
Fresh off his win, what was that, last weekend?
Yeah. Beat the Iceman, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Okay,
you are up to date, man.
Okay,
I'm telling you, you're scaring me a little bit.
Yeah. Chuck Liddell.
Very good. Ensberg struck out with the bases loaded his first time up.
And that was with no help from the truck.
Now, why should I believe that? I know it's fed in my ear half the time.
They didn't help me. Should have known because it's the correct answer.
They're always helping us out. We appreciate it.
He's from Minnesota, Al.
We always hear that too. And it's fouled back. Two and two the count. And it's full. Adam Everett on deck. Our buddy Mark Murray is enjoying Cardinal baseball tonight. So the Cardinals offices back home in St. Louis. A 2-out walk by Adam Wainwright.
One hit allowed, but his third walk.
Everett struck out back in the second. Adam Wainwright has struck out 4 on the night. Works from the stretch. Spezio, the third baseman, in on the grass, and a grounder that's hit to short. Eckstein with a force play to Kennedy at second base, and we have played 4 here in Houston. Cardinals lead it 1-0. Take a look at our Aflac trivia question tonight. As the 5th inning rolls in here in Houston, who threw the first Houston no-hitter? We're going to answer it. 1963. There you go, Al.
Not about.
Did you know that one?
No.
Normally you are on these things.
I mean, they had some really hard throwers early in the infancy stages. I think that'd be full 45s.
Yeah, that is. It is full 45s. One pitch and 1 out off the bat of Gary Bennett, and here is Adam Kennedy. Think about some of the great pitching they have had throughout the years here in Houston. Larry Durker, J.R. Richard, Nolan Ryan.
We got, from
right. Roger Clemens most recently. This guy on the mound, Roy Oswalt.
They had J.R. Richards and Scipio Spinks in the minor leagues together and came up that first year, but Scipio was electric in himself, but J.R. Richards was 6'8" and just huge reach. And it looked like when he released the ball, it almost would touch the batter. And not only did he throw as hard as anybody in the game back then, but it was his slider that made him so devastating.
Just outside. See where Oswald's trying to figure that out too. He motioned towards the home plate umpire as if to say, where's that pitch? And as a pitcher, you can ask that.
Well,
trying to figure out the strike zone.
It's kind of a mild protest to say I think it's a strike, but you're trying to do it in a sense where you're saying if you think that's outside, I've got to know. I want to know if it's outside or if it's high or low because I thought it was a good pitch.
A 2-2 to Adam Kennedy. This is outside again. Oswalt thought he had a strikeout. Got a big day coming up in St. Louis. My partner Al Raboski, Sunday, June 10th at the Ritz-Carlton. Then on the 11th, golf, and we're talking about the 5th annual Mad Hungarian Legends Tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun again.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. A lot of memorabilia on the 10th, the auction. Of course, you have a band. You can get gala tickets for that, but then or you can play golf on the 11th at Algonquin. What a great course that is, and how nice they are accommodating either an 8:30 flight or a 1 p.m. flight.
Judy Eaglehoff has been so good to us. Her number, if you'd like to find out more about Al's tournament, is 314-770-1626. 770-1626.
Picked up some memorabilia from Osmus today. got one display case of Gold Glove winners, multiple Gold Glove winners.
And the bunt is down for Adam Wainwright, who picked up the first Cardinal hit tonight. Let me give you some of the folks that will be at your tournament. Will Clark, Conrad Dobler, George Foster, Whitey will be there, Jim Otis, Bob Plager from the St. Louis Blues, Manny Sanguillen, Tom Pagnazzi, Jim Holtgrave, Goose Gossage. You have got quite an assortment of good sports celebrities coming.
We have some fun. Jason Jennings, who will be pitching against the Cardinals on Sunday, was the National League Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, and got one of those display cases of Rookies of the Year.
Swing and a miss by David Eckstein. I'm sure you'll have something from big old Albert in there.
Well, got some different things, you know. It's just gonna be a fun time. Just appreciate all the support for the Health Careers Foundation.
Again, that number is 770-1626. And Eckstein is hit by the pitch.
It doesn't look like he just got that one, as it looked like it's around the elbow. And David's been hit a lot of times, and he is tough as nails, but this one nailed him.
See the red on where it hit him on his arm. That's 90+ miles an hour, and that's going to swell up in a hurry.
Freezing agent on there, and but your whole arm goes numb. You have just no feeling, just a burning sensation. And there's no muscle or anything protecting that elbow. I assume it's still ethyl chloride. Running in on him, got him look like right on the point of the elbow. And you don't see David in that much pain. A lot of times he has that ability to take a glancing blow, but this got all bone. Barry Weinberg trying to have him squeeze his hand to see if he can got any feeling in there. Flex it, move it.
Eckstein, a guy that's been hit a bunch in his career.
And I'm not sure if he can hang in there.
It's the first game back for Eckstein after missing the last few games.
I guess he's going to stay in there. I mean, he is tough. He's been hit a bunch, but this one stung him a little bit more than usual.
Right now, the Cardinals are down to a backup catcher, Esposito, Ludwig, and Miles.
And remember, Jim Edmonds kind of grabbed his hamstring. We thought even Barry Weinberg went over to check on Albert's legs. The other day in Colorado, Tony was prepared to put a couple pitchers in the field. And we only had one extra man. And Ludwig was that man, and he eventually hit.
Spezio hits it foul. You know, last couple of years, you wouldn't mind watching a guy like Marquis hit for himself, but it'd be interesting to see those guys play the field.
And the unfortunate thing, I was thinking about the other day, which outfielders or what pitchers would you pick? One of the guys I'd probably pick would be Wainwright.
Right.
But he's pitching.
Remember the game that Oquendo pitched in?
Morel.
And De Leon was out there too. De Leon was the one that was out there.
Okay.
And then they'd flip-flop depending if it was a righty or a lefty. Bernansky would flip to right field or left field.
And there was times where Whitey Herzog would have Todd Worrell say pitch in the ninth inning, and then there'd be a real tough left-handed batter come up, bring in Ken Daly. He would retire that guy, put Todd in the outfield, and then when after the lefty was gone, bring Todd back to the mound and have him pitch to another right-hander.
0-2 the count on Scott Spezio. We're in the fifth, 1-0 St. Louis. Runners at first and second. Struck him out. Strikeout number 3 for Oswalt. Gets the strikeout after hitting David Eckstein on the elbow. It's 1-0. We'll check out the Cardinals Alumni Kids Clinic sponsored by Bank of America. Boys and girls ages 7 to 13 can learn baseball fundamentals from former Cardinal greats Danny Cox, Kenny Reitz, Rick Horton, Lee Thomas, Neil Fiala. A bunch of former Cardinals will be part of this. They're one-day baseball clinics this summer at St. Louis area ball fields, and the number to call to find out more is 345-9891, 345-9891, or visit stlcardinals.com. First pitch swing. That's Spezio. Fires to first, wide, and the pick by Pujols. What a pick. Boy, that's a good play.
Well, listen to Booze now. Once again, it's a compliment because they know who Albert Pujols is. But what a pick right there. He's got such soft hands, just a little swinging bunt. Not the easiest play for Spezio, but he really slung that ball, got under it, and just, I mean, he gives a nasty throw for Albert, but staying on the bag, trying to backhand it, reaching for it, and just a nice pick at first base.
And the other part of that for Albert Pujols, Al, you could see where the ball hit. It was really close to the lip.
Grass, yeah, the lip right there. The grass meeting the dirt, so you don't know what kind of hop you're going to get.
Strike to Roy Oswalt. The Astros have just one hit as we play here in the bottom of the 5th with 1 out. That one base hit was Hunter Pence with a double in the first.
I'm watching David Eckstein, and he really can't stay still. I mean, he's just walking around in between pitches. I know that elbow's got to be killing him.
Curveball, the 0-2 lifted out to center. Edmonds over, makes the catch. Every fly ball, you hear these fans get loud in this building. Roof is closed tonight too. Well, a career that began in the major leagues 1988. Played in 50 games that season for Houston, and he looks to finish up his career wearing just one uniform, and that's the Houston Astros uniform. He has changed his swing over the years, that high leg kick, and what he's done with the Crawford boxes, and truly one of the great people in this game.
Yeah, multiple positions. You saw that first shot. He had the catcher's glove on. Second base, outfield, back to second.
Two outs, nobody on for Biggio. Fans watching the chase towards 3,000.
23 hits away from being the 27th man in Major League history to have 3,000 hits. Obviously, it would be the first Astro. Asked him about how much, do you miss Bagwell? And he said, well, not really, because it's been 3 years. Because of the injuries to Bagwell, he really hasn't been around. But they were, wherever one was, the other one was. And they have represented this franchise par excellence.
Statues of the two outside the ballpark.
Just think of some of the good guys that have come in between here. And I think because of their leadership, they've learned how to deal with the media and handle themselves as a professional.
Diving stop by Spezio, gets up and takes a hit away from Craig Biggio. So Scott Spezio began the night in left, and now he's busy over at third. A couple of good plays. It's 1-0 as we head to the 6th. Well, kids, tune in tomorrow for a new episode of Cardinals Crew. Join Andy Bennis and Fred Bird as they preview the Pooches in the Park Day at Busch Stadium, along with a bonus story about the grounds crew. Skip Schumacher presents his knowledge in big league tips. Cardinals Crew brought to you by Grant's Farm tomorrow at 11 on FSN Midwest. The boos are out for Albert Pujols.
Pooches in the park and then grounds crew. Kind of appropriate.
In big league tips with a guy at AAA. Skip Schumacher.
Well,
either way, it's a great show, so tune in.
Hey, he will be again.
I was talking to Walt Jocketty about Skip Schumacher prior to the game tonight, and Walt said he's hitting around 280 and playing very well. Because I was asking him, I said, "Well, situation with Duncan, just don't know what you may have to do." And he said, we don't have to approach that situation yet of calling up an outfielder, but we have options, and Skip certainly is in the plans.
I don't have to do that as long as nobody else gets hurt, and so you got to think about Rowan coming out of there. How serious is that? Probably more of a precautionary move.
A 2-2 pitch. Inside, full count. Gotta like how this series has started so far. A 1-0 lead against Oswalt.
Well, we talked about how Cardinal hitters can look and expect to see a fastball.
The 3-2 is backhanded by Biggio, and he makes the play.
You talk about it, you're going to look for a fastball, but I didn't expect to see this pitching. It's supposed to be a fastball in, it's a fastball away. And he comes back, and that's supposed to be the fastball in. He hits it, another fastball, fouls it back, another fastball, another fastball. Every pitch in the sequence was a fastball, and Albert grounds out to second. Almost snuck it by Biggio. Throws a changeup to Edmonds on the first pitch. He would throw more fastballs to the right-handers. The left-handers would throw the changeup, the slow curve, and the fastball.
1 ball, 1 strike on Edmonds.
Back-to-back changeups to Jimmy.
Edmonds tonight is 0 for 2.
Now, 3 consecutive changeups. He threw Albert 6 straight fastballs, and now 3 changeups to Jim. Hitters aren't expecting that.
Edmonds first was dealt to St. Louis. Cardinals had a series at this ballpark, and I mean, he lit it up. You got a little glimpse of what the future was going to be like with Edmonds. He hit a couple of mammoth home runs, and I think one of the best plays we've ever seen at this ballpark was Edmonds last year up on Towles Hill. Willie Mays type catch running up the hill.
How quick Oswalt works. You can just imagine now how much the fielders love to be behind him for that quick pace.
Inside to Jimmy. And after falling behind 0-2, Edmonds draws a walk.
Second walk by Oswalt, and he has hit a man.
And here is Sotaguchi. How about the plays by Scott Spezio filling in for Scott Rowland as Edmonds, he's been hurting a little bit.
Well, yeah, but here's the one you're talking about up on Towles Hill, 430. Then you go up a 30-foot incline. You're looking right over. He checks where he is. Then you're going up, running uphill.
Make the argument he's the greatest to play center field in St. Louis.
He's the best that I've seen.
He is unbelievable.
I can't talk about Terry Moore and Kurt Flood, but I mean, he's better than McGee.
And when you looked at the options last year and what you might do with center field, some question marks whether or not Edmonds would be back. The one thing you knew, even if he struggled offensively, is what you got defensively.
Yeah, I think that was the overriding factor when he had the concussion syndrome, is whoever you put out there was an inferior center fielder. And so maybe his offensive skills have diminished a little bit, but nobody could play as well defensively.
Colby Rasmus, the highly touted center field prospect, is not ready. By the way, he is the player of the month, Cardinals minor league system. As Sotaguchi hits it into right on a hit and run. Edmonds on his way to third, and the throw is not in time. He is not running all that well.
He is not running that well. I don't think Albert is running that well. They put the hit and run on. So was perfect. His placement to the right side. Look at that. You could just look at the way he went after that, attacked that ball, and just hit it to the right side. all of his mannerisms there, and because Jimmy not running real well, he had to turn it on a little bit at the end. And look at the fadeaway slide. Bobby Spezio trying to maybe deke him. Watch the second baseman and try to field the ground ball and shovel it to his shortstop, trying to deke Edmonds, get him to slide so he couldn't go to third.
Encarnacion on the first pitch pops it up.
Out of play.
Struck out back in the second inning on a nasty curveball. Struck out looking. Grounded out to third in the fourth. And now he's got, with one out, runners at first and third.
He got the big blow last night. Bases were loaded, and he hit a bases clearing double.
0-1 pitch, and that's fouled back as well. 0-2 the count on Encarnacion. Cardinals with a good opportunity here in their half of the sixth. Oswalt needs a strikeout here. The 0-2 pitch. May have mislocation on that. They want to go a little bit further in on Encarnacion.
Yeah, most of the time when Oswalt gets in a little trouble and has a right-handed batter, he'll try and pound the inside part of the plate. A couple pitches got away from him when Albert was at the plate.
Home plate umpire said, let's go. Trying to break up this meeting. Gary Cedarstrom, our home plate umpire.
Five hits in this game, and 4 of them for the Cardinals.
Check on the runner at first. So Taguchi.
Timing as he gets his walking lead. Playing double play depth up the middle.
Popped up again behind home plate. Osmus will give it a look, and it's about 5 rows back.
Or that pitch where he tries to run it right in on him, jam him. With that pop up that keeps the team from scoring, or you get a strikeout in there.
The 0-2 pitch took something off it. That's the pitch right there, Al, that he'll take 15-20 miles an hour off the pitch from the previous pitch, and he does it with the exact same arm motion and body.
Yeah, it's a curveball and everything, but you know, because he's so explosive, he has that long stride. When he throws that slow breaking ball, it looks like the fastball. It kind of looks like he kind of jumps at you, and then the ball isn't there.
Struck him out. 92 miles an hour up in the zone. Encarnacion couldn't catch up.
Well, you know,
that's 4 strikeouts tonight.
It's a 4-seam fastball where he throws up there, and it's got a little movement and tailing action. And you know, when you've been change that eye angle, and you see that slow breaking ball, or you see the sinker 88, 89 miles an hour down, and then you get that 92 to 94 4-seam fastball up, you'll swing through a lot of it. Got a good feeling about Gary Bennett.
Delivered with 3 hits last night and picked up a 2-out RBI. 2 outs and runners at first and third. And Bennett hits it to the left side. Ensberg cuts it off and goes to Biggio. And Oswalt gets out of the jam. 1-0 St. Louis. Cardinal baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Come in and try Jack's new sirloin steak and mushroom ciabatta. That's right, sirloin. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers. And by U.S. Cellular. We connect with you. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. And we welcome you back to Houston, Texas, where the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead. You didn't even wait, Al, to throw your peanut bags out until the 7th inning stretch.
No.
You jumped the gun. Or you just starting your own trend?
I'm just starting my own trend. I'm just going out there saying I'm a Wainwright fan. The way he's gone out here, only one hit allowed to this batter. Pence in his first time up. He's walked 3, but those are the only 4 base runners. Keep it going though.
Pence is swing and a miss on a big breaking ball. 1 hit allowed. That is it by big number 50.
He's thrown 66 pitches. He's gotten a lot of these hitters to, in the last couple frames, to get themselves out on the first pitch.
Pence is doubled back in the first, the only hit for Houston, and struck out. Now he's got his second hit, a base hit up the middle. Good looking player, isn't he?
Yeah, the other breaking balls that he's been swinging and missing have been off the plate. This one's a little bit up and over the middle of the plate. And he gets his second hit, the only 2 hits for the Astros. But this one a leadoff variety, so been able to contain Berkman and Carlos Lee and Luke Scott, but he's going to have to do it now as they're facing him for the 3rd time.
Berkman is struck out and grounded out 0 for 2. Grounded out to the second baseman Adam Kennedy.
As a reliever, you know, you're only going to face a guy 1 time max.
The shift is on for Berkman, so you could have a situation here where if a ball is hit to Scott Spiezio, and we have seen this before with Lance Berkman, you'll have the shortstop Eckstein turning the double play.
5-6-3.
And 0-1 the count on Berkman. In the bottom of the 6th, 1-0 St. Louis. Good pitch. Changeup.
Pulled the string on him. Got good location on it. End up down and away. And swinging over the top of it. A great arm action on it. Talking about it. And Adam was a reliever. You only face a guy 1 time a night. But as a starter, 3 or 4 times. Got to trick him each time.
Blocked in the dirt by Bennett.
And to overthrow the curveball.
Adam Wainwright had the opportunity to live the dream of so many people that have ever picked up a glove and thrown a baseball, and he did it 3 different times, closing out a series 3 different times
in postseason.
Right. San Diego, the Mets, a dramatic strikeout of Beltran in Game 7, then Brandon Inge to clinch the World Series. A 1-2 pitch to Berkman. Got him. He struck him out on a curveball. And Berkman is struck out twice. It's 5 strikeouts tonight for Adam Wainwright. And it leads us to our hot pitch of the game, as always, brought to you by Hardee's.
Not only a curveball, but it was a great curveball. Look at that, just straight down and out away from Berkman, so it's beyond his reach a little bit, over the top of it, but just a true 12-6.
Batter is Carlos Lee. Got to be careful here with Carlos Lee. One swing of the bat, it's 2-1.
That last delivery was 91-mile-an-hour fastball, but it was kind of the reverted back a little bit where he's not finishing off his pitches, just kind of spinning a little bit towards first base.
One and one.
Adam told me that one of the things that he's noticed on his curveball was he was getting his arm too far out in front. On the curveball, he wanted to pull it down pulled the lampshade down closer to his chest. On the slider, you wanted to finish out there, reaching out a little bit further. And now they'll get together with the Major League RBI leader at the plate in a one-run game, and the potential tying run is at first.
World Championship fan jewelry collection is now available at the Cardinals team store at 8th and Clark, or by calling 1-877-CHAMP-06 or stlcardinals.com. One ball, one strike, one out, runner at first. And that's popped up behind home plate, and that'll find the seats.
Got to really concentrate on getting the deadly hitter out, but you're also got a runner at first that has a little speed. He's not a true base stealer, as he's been successful in 3 out of 6 attempts. But you can't have your big high leg kick and give him a good running start. You got Molina back there. You don't think about the running game, but with Bennett, it's always an option.
Lee in the hole, 1 and 2, and time is called by Bennett.
You know, that's one aspect that Tony La Russa pays an awful lot of attention to, how to stop the running game. But as a pitcher, many times you're saying, I've got enough on my plate trying to get this hitter out.
Outfield is deep and straight away, and a check on Pence again.
He was kind of leaning a little bit. I think Adam didn't need anything from the dugout. He just saw him kind of flinching. Pull those socks up, you automatically look faster.
Curveball is pulled foul.
Agree with me?
Personally, I like the look.
I said you just automatically look faster.
I think you're right on that part too. It looks so much better than the below the heel of the shoe.
What do you mean George Hendricks' contribution to Major League Baseball?
I'm not a fan. There he goes, and the pitch is taken for a ball and a stolen base for Hunter Pence.
Kind of felt like there was only a matter of time before he would decide to run. And fastball, high throw. And Kennedy does something that I really like. You know, you can tell as a middle infielder whether that guy's going to be safe or out. You know that ball's sailing and tailing a little bit. Vacate the bag. Don't try and stretch out and make the catch and make the perfect throw. If the ball's a little offline, concede the base. Don't let that ball get into the outfield so you can go to third.
Lee with 48 RBIs this season. Crowd comes alive. We do have first base open. Situation now, from a pitcher's perspective, you don't have to give in here to Carlos Lee.
No, you do not. And also Wainwright knows that Carlos has never gotten a hit off him. He's 0 for 6. He walked him. Now you've got 2 strikes, so you can try and get him to expand his zone and get himself out. As you said, you aren't going to groove anything. You aren't going to let this guy beat you in this situation. If you put him on first base, he's got the double play in order. But you're going to still try and go with your good stuff, try and get him out, but you're not going to groove the pitch.
The 2-2 pitch. Curveball got him to reach, slowly hit and foul.
Exactly right.
You haven't seen it yet. One of the things we're going to do next half inning is take you to Wrigley Field and a couple of teammates having it out. Michael Barrett and his starting pitcher today, Carlos Zambrano.
I told you it's always a special relationship between pitcher and catcher.
You and Ted Simmons and Zambrano and Barrett, right?
Sure.
Long season, those kind of things happen. Just normally you don't see them. And a lot of times punches aren't thrown. But behind closed doors, there are arguments all the time.
And I wouldn't want anybody to misinterpret, because Teddy was the kind of guy that just made me that much better. You know, I mean, I just always wanted him catching me with the game on the line, because I knew he was going to win it with his bat.
A 2-2 pitch. They want it outside, a check swing.
See, it's a good pitch. You know, you almost get a hitter to get himself out. Situation here, you know, with the stuff that Adam has, he's got a couple different ways he'd go, but I'm almost thinking it's going to be one of his off-speed pitches, one of his breaking balls. It'll be his slider out there.
The 3-2 pitch.
Oh, fastball.
Ooh, he challenged it.
Didn't get it in either.
That's a pitch that you got away with right there.
Yeah. As soon as I saw Bennett move inside, I knew what was coming. It was the fastball, and he left it up out over the plate, but it couldn't do anything with it. This is the 10th pitch of this at bat.
3-2 again. Curveball, and he hung it.
He hung it, but sometimes you can be just bad enough to where you get away with it. But any time that you're standing out there for 11 pitches, you know, the tendency that you're going to get one or two mistake pitches are that much greater. He's gotten his mistake pitches. He just couldn't do anything with it. So you put him away on this pitch here.
Curveball, he hung it a little bit, and that ball is just foul.
And Bennett immediately out there to talk to him. But the last 3 pitches he's hung. You know, have you ever heard a manager talking about, you know, how a starter goes out there and he's in a pressure situation, or like at times of the game, see that ball just hooked foul. But these are what they're talking about. I mean, this is a tough, draining inning. And maybe your pitch count is still within your range, but a tough inning like this takes a lot out of you mentally.
Overall, the pitch count at 82 for Wainwright. And here comes another. Nope. Check on Pitts out at second base. Outfield is deep and straight away, so base hit more than likely will score the runner from second. He's got good speed.
Yeah, it's with Carlos Lee up, but with most outfielders today, you know, they're going to score a guy with decent speed on anything hit to the outfield.
Much of this crowd on their feet.
And really no margin for error in a 1-0 game. Bennett, Wainwright having trouble getting together. This is something a catcher has to do too. You know, unlike Barrett and Zambrano, which we're going to show you, is sometimes you go out there and you got to be a little stern. Other times you got to be a babysitter. The catcher truly has to have some psychology in calling a game and working with the pitching staff.
You could see Wainwright talk to Eckstein about the pitch too, so he can be properly positioned and have an understanding what may happen. The 3-2 pitch. Reaches for it down the right field line. This ball is just foul. 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet, just foul.
Well, once again, the ball is up. It's outside, but it's up. A little slider out there. And this time it's down the right field line. About as foul as the one that 4 or 5 pitches to go down the left field line. We got to be over 15 pitches now, aren't we?
I believe so. This is what makes baseball so much fun.
Well, especially, I mean, this is the beauty of a you know, a close game. Every pitch determines the outcome.
The 3-2 from Adam Wainwright. Fouled straight back. What a battle here.
Fastball up in the zone that time, but it was beyond, you know, just far enough away that all he could do was just foul it back. Crowd is going to be drained after this inning. The fun of pitching one-on-one battles.
And it's hammered out to deep center field. Edmonds back. Up on the hill it goes. A run will score. And this game is tied after the terrific, and I mean terrific at bat, put together by Carlos Lee.
49th RBI of the season. $100 million man really has not succumbed to the pressure of getting the big dollar signs. Great at bat, but so many pitches in that at bat were up over the middle of the plate. And he finally, El Caballo gets him. Ball right up out there. Edmonds had no chance to get back on Taos Hill. Halfway up it. That's 425, 26 feet away from home plate. Obviously, Pence comes home. And now with one out, the potential go-ahead run is sitting out there in Carlos Lee.
That was the 14th pitch of the at-bat. Pujols will flip to Wainwright covering first, and Lee advances to third.
Carlos Lee leading the major leagues in RBIs, and he just showed you why. First hit ever off of Adam Wainwright, but after a terrific battle, he was the victor. But that's just a battle. It's not the war.
Still a long ways to go in this game. 1-1 now here in the bottom of the sixth. 2 outs. Ensberg can atone for his first plate appearance of the night, which he struck out with the bases loaded. He's also walked. Spins away from a breaking ball. You see that a lot with Morgan Ensberg. Watching him over the last couple of years, Al, those breaking balls, a lot of major leaguers will hang in there and then turn into the pitch. I mean, Ensberg's a guy that is bailing a lot.
Kind of a far cry from the team MVP of '05.
Gets a fastball that hits it out to short. Eckstein makes the play. The Astros have stranded 5 on the night. Carlos Lee, what an at bat. We're tied up 1-1. Atlanta would win this game 8-5, and this is courtesy of TBS. Michael Barrett, the catcher. Carlos Zambrano is the pitcher. After that play, after the half inning, this is Zambrano and what he thought about the play from Barrett. Sit back and enjoy it.
I think he's pointing up there, giving up 13 hits. A little fight breaks out. See Rothschild, Piniella.
A quote from Lou Piniella: "I sent both players home and expect they will be disciplined tomorrow." The altercation between Barrett and Zambrano. Remember, Carlos Zambrano during spring training said he would win the Cy Young and the Cubs would win the World Series, to be their first since 1908. And Zambrano has a deal that apparently he has agreed to, but because of the ownership change being in flux at this point with the Chicago Cubs, that deal has not been signed. So they're still waiting to finalize that deal. I'm sure he's feeling a little pressure with that.
Sure.
They gave Alfonso Soriano close to $140 million. Al Raboski, Alfonso Soriano has 1 home run at home this year.
And 136 million. It doesn't buy what it used to.
Here's the 1-2. 2-2. Kathy Calico is tonight's merchandise winner, the Hyundai Long Drive Inning Sweepstakes. The Cardinals hit a home run. Kathy Calico qualifies for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer.
Zambrano now is 5-5 on the season.
2-2 the count on Adam Kennedy. Coming up on the post-game show, you're going to hear from the Cubs manager, Lou Piniella. He himself can be a little fiery. Biggio over on the outfield grass and makes the play. Hockey fans can get an inside look at the St. Louis Blues preparations for the 2007 NHL Draft and Blues All Access Draft Special, airing Monday at 7:30 right here on FSN Midwest. I've had a chance to see this. It's a neat program. FSN Midwest, in conjunction with the National Hockey League, put this together, and you'll get a chance to see how the Blues are approaching this upcoming draft as Adam Wainwright hits it out to deep right field, and it's caught at the wall. Here from Larry Plow and John Davidson. The Blues have 8 picks in the upcoming draft in the first 4 rounds, and they have 3 in the first round. So it's a big draft for the Blues, and that show will air at 7:30.
Well, we'll show the replay as Wainwright sends a right fielder, but this is not a good sign that Miles is pinch hitting for Eckstein. So David was able to go into the field, but apparently not able to hit with the pitch that was hit on the elbow. Watch Adam Wainwright come out of this batter's box. He's not taking anything for granted. He doesn't know if it's a home run, but he knows that if it's dropped, he's going to be out at second base at the least.
So Miles will be the pinch hitter. 2 outs and nobody on.
Have to be concerned about that, right?
Oh, no doubt. Eckstein, his first game back since over the weekend, and took a 90+ mile-an-hour fastball to his elbow.
David is tough, and you know he's not going to come out of that game. Probably tighten up on him. Miles has been very good. Tailed off a little bit after he's 0 for his last 7, but he was as hot as could be on the homestand where he hit .500. Got off to a good start there in Colorado, but tailed off the last couple games.
Aaron Miles started his pro career in the Houston organization. He talks about trying to prove something against teams that he used to play for, and he's done that against Colorado and trying to do it here tonight against the Astros. 1-2.
Remember when spring training of last year, I asked a Houston scout about it, and he said, well, he'll never walk, swings at everything. He's been a good little player for the Cardinals.
Backhanded by Biggio. And the Cardinals are through in their half of the 7th. Oswalt through 7. Has allowed just 4 hits. Wainwright on the other side 3. It's time to stretch. Cardinal fans, Musselman's Applesauce and Schnuck stores are pleased to offer Cardinals fans a chance to win 1 of 54 packs of Cardinal tickets. Visit Musselman's Applesauce displays at your local Schnuck stores for details. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. With my partner Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Cardinals baseball tonight on FSN Midwest. A dandy. It's 1-1 as we move to the bottom of the 7th.
Start talking about both these clubs that struggled offensively at times. But part of this night is the good pitching by Oswalt and Wainwright.
7, 8, and 9 in the lineup for Houston. Got to be a little concerned right now about the injury bug that has hit the Cardinals. David Eckstein has left this game after being hit on the elbow.
Scott Rowland left after feeling a little tightness in his hamstring.
Up and in to Everett.
One pitches thrown by Wainwright tonight.
2-1 pitch to Everett. Pop back and foul. Here's a look at Ricky Horton. He is working on the radio side tonight. And for Cardinal fans tuned into the radio, not hearing the familiar voice of Mike Shannon, he's back home in St. Louis, and certainly our thoughts and prayers with Mrs. Shannon and Mike Shannon.
Yes, so John Rooney and Ricky will be there the next 2 games, and our thoughts and prayers, as you said, are with Judy.
2-2 is popped up. Adam Kennedy on the infield puts it away. Here's Osmus, who is fly to center and grounded out to third. Tell you what, that was one of the best at-bats of the year so far, even though it went against the Cardinals. The at-bat by Carlos Lee, and the fact that it went 14 pitches and how each pitch was dissected throughout the at-bat and how they wanted to approach it. He would win the battle and tie this game up with a double off of Adam Wainwright.
It's also good to see Adam, after giving the base hit, knuckle down and got the final 2 outs and come out here and get the first man. He's only allowed 3 hits. 2 of them were in that last inning. He has walked 3, struck out 5. Went 7 innings his last start. But he came out on the short end of that one. Only 2 runs allowed.
Up the middle, Miles couldn't come up with it. Diving effort, just a little bit short.
And Osmus' first hit ever. And Miles playing a little bit in the hole. This ball is hit up the middle. Now they'll send the pinch hitter up. Mike Lamb, who's been a very good platoon third baseman and pinch hitter for the Astros. He's had some damage against the Cardinals.
For 2 as a pinch hitter against Cincinnati in the just completed series. As a pinch hitter this year, he does have a home run and 4 RBIs and hitting .235 in these spots. Tying run, or rather the winning run, the go-ahead run, is at first. But it's popped up. Kennedy.
You get out of this inning, and you also knock Oswalt out of the game. So,
and that's the key in this game. And upcoming for the Cardinals, they've got Spezio, Pujols, and Edmonds.
Of course, we also know that they've got the fine bullpen. Hits for Craig Biggio. 23 away from immortality.
Craig is 0 for 3 tonight. Popped out to the second baseman. He's popped out to the catcher and grounded out to third. Here's one of those very good relievers, Chad Qualls, in the bullpen.
He had 4 shutout innings in last night's ball game from the bullpen. Woody Williams picked up his first home win in that game last night.
Struck out 10.
Struck out 5. Yeah, every now and then a 40-year-old can think he's throwing good, like the old days.
I was talking the other day with a couple of players about when Woody Williams got to St. Louis, it kind of had the feel of what the team has been playing like right now.
I remember they made that as a deal in the first week of August after the trading deadline. Traded Langford and it was more so done for the following year. But Woody, great leader, kind of said, hey, I saw enough losing in San Diego. I think we got a good ball club here. And he kind of said, come on, boys, start acting like we're winners. And lo and behold, they came back and won the division that year.
99 pitches on the night for Wainwright. A 2-0 pitch. Not too sure Biggio liked that call. Looked to be a little up and outside. You would figure that this would be it for Wainwright.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it's talking about. Good pitch there. You know, kind of the pressure innings when you get guys on. That 6th inning, you know, really kind of takes a toll, but he hadn't let it bother him. He's come out here and got 2 outs. He does have a base runner out there, but if you get Biggio out, and you hope the momentum comes to the Cardinals on offense.
Last 2 pitches, he's pounded the outside corner, trying to go back there again.
Tried to overthrow that one, got underneath it a little bit, took off on him, but up.
3-2, 2 outs and a runner at first, so Osmus is off with the pitch.
But still, for a catcher, still has decent speed, catching more games than any other Astro.
There he goes, and the 3-2 is taken for a ball. First time that Biggio has been aboard. Cardinals have a right-hander getting loose in the pen.
They got a pair of right-handers getting loose. We'll just have to see what Dave Duncan going out there. He's the 4th walk. Jimenez and Franklin. Ideally, may have wanted to bring in Franklin in the 8th inning. Have Jimenez maybe finish off this one, but I think now, as a situation, if you were to go to one of them, I've got to go with my best to go with Franklin. What you really want is Wainwright to get the guy that's been his nemesis tonight out. Ellis Lee got the RBI, but this guy scored their first run. He has 2 of the 4 hits.
2 outs, runners in scoring position. So the numbers there for Pence. He's doubled and he has singled against Adam Wainwright.
He's throwing curveballs the first 2 times up. Struck him out in the 3rd, and they eventually got a base hit on the curveball. This time he challenged him with a fastball.
Both starters tonight, Oswalt, Wainwright, have allowed just 4 hits apiece.
Oswalt, the run scored against him was unearned.
Curveball, and that's a strike.
He almost ducked his head into it. So kind of going on fumes right now, but he's got him where he wants him. Kind of a hanging breaking ball, but Vince was fooled on it, and it's 0-2.
Where does he want to go with this pitch here on 0-2?
Cardinals don't pitch inside much. Nice block by Bennett. You're not accustomed to pitching inside. Probably shouldn't in this situation try to pitch inside because you leave it over the middle of the plate. You were talking to Houston and you say what would be the tendencies from Wainwright? He'll give you something up over the middle of the plate.
One-two pitch. 2-2.
Fumes trying to pull down on that breaking ball.
The crowd on their feet again.
The crowd's enjoyed this close ball game. It's been a good one. One good pitch from Adam.
2-2. Got him. Struck him out. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. 6 strikeouts tonight for Wainwright. The Astros strand 2. It's 1-1. What's on tap brought to you by Bud Light. And tomorrow the game will be on Big Fox, KTVI, and then Sunday News Channel 5 will take over. Cardinals and the Astros, 12:30 on KSDK. Jay Randolph and Ricky Horton will have the call for you. And that will be Braden Looper making that start on Sunday afternoon for the Cardinals here in Houston.
A good one. Jason Jennings and Braden Looper.
Scott Spiezio leads it off here in the top of the 8th. Spiezio, Pujols, and Edmonds are called to the bullpen. Brought to you by Chevrolet, and this is Chad Qualls.
See the 4 wins all out of the bullpen. He ranks 2nd in Major League Baseball with 181 appearances since the beginning of 2005. Has blown a couple save opportunities and picking up some of those wins. Got some hard throwers, but that's exactly what Spiezio wants.
0 for 3 on the night. Started in left field, moved to 3rd after a hamstring problem developed with Scott Rowland.
The slider there looks a lot like the fastball, coming in on the right-handed batter. Try to get it up a little bit above the hands, tie up a hit the lefty. There's another one.
Two balls and a strike. Spiezio has grounded out to short, grounded to second, and struck out. Chad Qualls, bullpen, and Brad Lidge, Trevor Miller, Dan Wheeler, Russ Springer made up the Houston bullpen the last few seasons. It's been a good one.
Miller, their lone lefty out of there. Dan Wheeler is their closer now, as Brad Lidge has pitched very effectively as a setup man.
Oh, goodness. 3-2.
Ice water in your veins to take a pitch like this, don't you?
Pretty good.
See the replay, it looked a little maybe off the plate, but if he would have gotten rung up, I don't think either one of them would have said a thing.
That one is over the middle of the plate, and a base hit for Spiezio. And a runner on now for Albert Pujols, and that changes the approach and how you pitch to Albert. FSN final score coming up later tonight. All the highlights around the major leagues. Stanley Cup in full swing. NBA playoffs. Previews on both sides. FSN final score tonight at 10:30. Cardinals catch a break by Spiezio not being called out on strikes, and let's see how big that call might be in this inning.
Albert hitting .322 with 4 home runs, 10 RBIs in the 7th inning or later.
Pujols has scored the 1 run for the Cardinals tonight. He hits it out of play. A hit and run was on with Pujols, and when you think about power hitters, normally you're not trying to do hit and runs or really anything except letting them focus on the at bat. But Pujols is a different kind of hitter.
Yeah, now I'm watching Berkman trying to wave his hat, try and get the attention of the bench, find out where do you want me to play. We're going to hold him on. You'd have to believe that times are slow to the plate from Qualls for Spiezio to be running.
Fouled back by Albert. There's 2 pitches that were hittable in this at bat.
Slider on the last one that just looked like it sat up there, up and over the middle of the plate. Fouled it back.
0-2 the count on Albert Pujols. Hits by direction for Albert Pujols, and this is one of the reasons why you can hit and run with him. He can go to right, and he can hit it with authority.
As the season goes along, you'll see even more higher percentage of balls to right.
A swing and a miss and a strikeout of Pujols.
Got some power arms there. They got guys that can rack up strikeouts. There's a good slider. You can just see almost like the dot. It's such a tight rotation. Doesn't have to break a huge amount. Just an inch or two is enough when you're trying to hit a round baseball with a round bat.
Edmonds 0 for 1 tonight. Remember his history in this ballpark. Can he do it again here? Spezio, a leadoff hit to right. He stands at first. Strikeout of Albert Pujols. Does have a home run off of Chad Calls. 2 for 10. Remember, it was Edmonds that dropped down a bunt that allowed Pujols to score back in the 4th after the error from Berkman, his 5th on the season. Good cut, fouled back. May have been a pitch to hit there for Edmonds. 1-1.
Slider, and you just look at his reaction. He thought this pitch right there,
goodness.
and just didn't really have any downward bite to it. Just kind of elevated in the middle of the plate. That's part of the equation, you know. Get your pitch. Can you do anything with it?
The 1-1. 1-2.
Percentages always with the pitcher. You're a great hitter if you fail 65% of the time.
Here's a 1-2 pitch.
Oh,
got him on a late call.
but how could you have that late and delayed a call? It definitely was a strike.
That's as late and deliberate as he has been all night.
Watch the umpire. It's a strike all the way, but look at that. Oh, now I got to call it. Now we can't tell if he's yelling out strike, but it sure was delayed before he reacted.
And it's up to Taguchi. Taguchi is grounded out to second. He's fly to right. He's singled. Taguchi is hitting in the spot where Rolen was. He's rather 1 for 2 on the night. The first plate appearance was for Scott Rolen, who had grounded out but left this game with a hamstring problem. Eckstein has had the lead because he was hit by a pitch. Duncan is unavailable because he's not here.
He's rooting for us back in St. Louis. But 5-game hitting streak was stopped last night for So.
2 out, center runner at first for Taguchi. For Houston, the heart of their lineup is coming up. Berkman, Lee, and Scott.
Sure, they'll be facing Franklin. See if So can't give us. So Taguchi struggling with runners in scoring position. Spezio isn't there yet. Just 188, 3 for 16. Also is that fastball slider. Slider goes away from the right-hander. Really has tremendous tailing action on his fastball inside to the right.
1-1 pitch. Inside again, 2-1.
That's the fastball, and you can see all that movement.
Jack Qualls appeared in 81 games a year ago. 77 the year before. You see those kind of numbers, you're usually thinking situational lefty.
Yeah.
Not a guy like Qualls. Grounder slowly hit to the shortstop Everett. Force play at second. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Berkman, Lee, and Scott. Good ball game tonight. It's 1-1. Cardinals baseball on FSN Midwest is brought to you by Bud.TV, where entertainment is always on and only on www.bud.tv. By Chevrolet, meet the all-new Silverado 2007 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. See for yourself. Shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by Advance Auto Parts, providing car care know-how to protect your investment. We're ready in advance. Good ball game tonight, 1-1 from Minute Maid Park here in Houston. As the bottom of the 8th rolls in, 1-5-0 for St. Louis, 1-4-1 for the Astros. Our call to the bullpen brought to you by Chevrolet. Ryan Franklin will take over. His record stands at 1-0, ERA of 1.27. And when the Cardinals signed him, you know, Al, that he wanted to be a starter, but with what he has done out of the bullpen, he's just too valuable in this role.
Well, that's what Tony said. Don't even think about pulling him out of the bullpen because he is their 8th inning man. He has been very good and efficient. He had his scoreless streak stopped at 9 games on Wednesday night. In 20 previous appearances, he's retired the first batter 18 times. He's only had 3 runs scored against him, 3 earned runs, but he's facing the heart of the order right now, and I think he enjoys this a lot.
First man he'll face is the dangerous Lance Berkman, but tonight he has struck out twice. Good outing by Adam Wainwright.
Adam will build off of that, feel good about himself, matched up against a tremendous pitcher, Oswalt, and pitching to a 7-inning duel, 1 run each.
There's 4 hits allowed by Adam in his start. 1 ball, 1 strike. Berkman struck out in the first, grounded out to second in the third, and a strikeout in the 6th. He personally has left 2 on tonight. Liner in the center, and the leadoff man is aboard. So just like in the top of this 8th inning where the Cardinals got their leadoff man and then Pujols up, Astros return the favor with Berkman and now lead.
Indication of the good hitter that he is. Pitch down and away. Just takes it back up central. And brings up that man.
7 for 23, couple of home runs for Carlos Lee against Ryan Franklin. The at-bat of the night was the previous at-bat for Lee. With 1 out and a runner on. A double by Carlos Lee to drive him in. On the first pitch, hits it out to shallow left center field. Who wants it? It's going to be Edmonds. Calmly puts it away.
Very calmly. After a long run, kind of turned on the afterburners. Looked like it was going to fall in the Bermuda Triangle. Ludwig is out in left field now, so it's part of the double switch. But Miles going back, good communication. And when you saw that there's the left fielder Ludwig who just goes in and part of the double switch, he pulls up, and you saw Miles peel off because he heard Edmonds calling for the ball.
1 out, and here is Luke Scott. Berkman, the runner at first base. Strike 1. For the fans moan and groan about this strike zone tonight. At times a little bit inconsistent. Luke Scott has walked, grounded out to second, and grounded to first.
Ludwig was put in the 9th spot. Wainwright, and part of the double switch where Franklin is in Taguchi's spot. So the Cardinals only have their backup catcher, their new catcher, Esposito, on the bench.
1-1 pitch. 2 balls and a strike. A 3-1 pitch bounced in the dirt. The go-ahead run now in scoring position. Well, this year, when you can't be home to watch the Cardinals on FSN, check out MLB.tv, and you can log on to the internet to watch every out-of-market Cardinals game live or listen to every radio broadcast live. For more details on MLB.tv, visit STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on.
Would get himself in a little bit of a jam with that walk. Got a couple right-handers coming up now.
Ensberg, first time up, struck out with the bases loaded. He walked in the 4th, grounded out to short in the 6th.
And Cardinals will take another ground ball to short and turn 2.
1 out, runners at first and second. Franklin has been working from behind here in this 8th inning.
So effective, and then he had that upper respiratory infection and kind of knocked him out for a few days, and really trying to work himself back into shape.
One ball, 1 strike.
Crowd here been trying to cheer on their home team, but just 5 hits apiece and only 2 runs in this total in the game. The thing about Ensberg now is he's not as aggressive a hitter as he was a couple years ago. More inclined to accept walks, not afraid to hit behind in the count, so you got to throw him strikes.
The 2-1 pitch. 3-1.
With some other hitters, they swing at those pitches, you know, but he's really backed away from his aggressiveness to the point where there were times last year when Phil Garner wasn't pleased with him at all because he wouldn't swing the bat.
Good rip on that pitch. Count is full, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Fastball up. Couldn't catch up to it. Just don't see Franklin shying away from combat, do you?
Not at all.
He just looks like he's geared and likes to compete.
Question now, does Phil Garner want to start the runners here? 3-2. First and second, just 1 out. They are not going, and the pitch is grounded to the shortstop. That's Miles.
Should have been.
Double play. They don't start the runners, and it's a double play. 6-4-3 on the double play. 9th inning coming up for the Cardinals. 1-1. Game reset tonight brought to you by Singular. Singular is now the new AT&T. 1-1 game. Pitching has been the story on both sides. The starters were terrific tonight. Roy Oswalt and Adam Wainwright. 5 hits aside in this game. Cardinals picked up a run on an error by Berkman in the 4th. Carlos Lee with an RBI double in the 6th. And it's 1-1 as the 9th inning rolls on, and Juan Encarnacion will lead it off for St. Louis.
That's the scoring right there. The Cardinals an unearned run. Great battle between Wainwright and Carlos Lee. And Carlos drove in his 49th run, lead the major leagues, and Chad Qualls in his 2nd inning of work.
0-1 pitch to Encarnacion and a foul ball.
See if he can, with that fastball that just runs in on these batters, he's going to, many times I'm sure guys foul this ball off their front foot. Ouch. It doesn't hurt a pitcher, but it does the hitter.
Osmus will give Chad Qualls some time.
That's changing the game.
And the benefit of that, he's given Encarnacion some time.
That's what I mean.
Yep.
Catcher say, come on, get back in here. Let's do it again. Foul this one off you.
And many times a pitcher will go right back inside.
Oh, absolutely. You know, just because that, a lot of times they think that hitter foot's still barking and you're afraid to swing because you know it might happen again. And you're just dreading it, so you fear to lose your aggressiveness.
2 balls, 2 strikes. A 2-2 pitch outside. Gary Bennett on deck. And then Adam Kennedy.
Somehow, some way, get on there.
The 3-2. Encarnacion out to left center field. It's well hit, and this ball is gone. Home run for Juan Encarnacion. His first of the season comes in the top of the 9th of a 1-1 game, and the Cardinals lead it 2-1.
How about that? It's been a few times, Dan. I know you said, boy, wouldn't this be a great time to get Juan's first home run? We didn't think about it here, but we can't think of a better thing to do right now, and that's a happy bench. And there was no doubt about this one. You watch the outfielders. They just turned and looked up there above the yellow line.
And that'll get Izzy going now, and Bennett hits it down the left field line, and this one is fair. It's a home run. Gary Bennett and the Cardinals go back-to-back.
Second time this year, the second time this road trip. And how about Gary Bennett? 3 hits last night, a pair of RBIs. Now he gets his first home run. Doing a great job handling the pitching staff in the absence of Molina. And you couldn't be happier for Gary Bennett. And these, look at these fans. They're silenced. That one young man in their orange shirt was stunned. As ball running in on him, he just quick with the hips and hands, turns it and right off the foul pole. And they're happy in that dugout after back-to-back home runs. And Chad Qualls has been knocked out of this game. They're going to go to their left-hander, Trevor Miller.
So back-to-back home runs to start this 9th inning. Home runs by Encarnacion and Gary Bennett. 3-1 here in the 9th. Top of the 9th. 3-7-0 for St. Louis, and for Houston 1-5-1.
Get his hands out there, as see it out there on the sweet part of the bat. Gary Bennett the same. That ball running in on him and just opens up the hips. And look at the teammates. Look at Albert Pujols. Look at those guys. Jim Edmonds, big smiles on their face. Ryan Franklin, the beneficiary of those 2 home runs. But
there's Trevor Miller Second reliever used by Phil Garner tonight.
Left-handed specialist, their only lefty in the pin.
Adam Kennedy pulls one foul. 0-2 the count. Kennedy on the night is 0 for 2 with a walk. See Ludwig, who was part of a double switch on deck, and then top of the lineup, Miles filling in for Eckstein.
Go back to Houston at bat.
Kennedy's hit by the pitch.
So, you know, when Garner had an opportunity on the 3-2 pitch to send the runner,
yep,
when Ensberg was up there. What really was surprising to me is Ensberger's got pretty good eye. You know, you knew there was a possibility. He'd already grounded out twice to shortstop that he'd hit another ground ball. But Albert was playing so far off the line, that runner at first base could have almost been down there at second base and would have no chance at the force play, and would have had runners at second and third and 2 outs if they would have sent the runner.
How about this inning now put together by Houston? Winding up at second, Kennedy. Back-to-back home runs, then a hit batsman. Ball got away from Osmus.
It's a good thing Kennedy was hustling, because that ball went off the brick backstop and carried him back to Osmus so quickly. Wild pitch. Comes back here, and look how quickly he gets it, and he fires down to second base. So if Kennedy would have just been lollygagging, he might have been thrown out. So never embarrass yourself if you're hustling.
Let's see what the Cardinals want to do now with Ludwig.
I wonder here if he was crossed up now. Runner was at first base, but Osmus was looking for a different delivery.
Crowd a little bit restless now after this team had dropped 10 straight. They finally picked up a win yesterday, and now the back-to-back home runs in this 9th inning. Pitching, the name of the game, and we saw 2 great starters this ball game tonight. Wainwright, Oswalt.
Let's just see. I mean, we've seen Tony be very creative. Sometimes when he has Ludwig up there the first time, he shows bunt the first time. Will he do something different on the next pitch? Does it frequently with his pitchers. We don't know. Ludwig's always been pretty much a slugger. Doesn't look like real comfortable trying to lay down the sacrifice, and now Oquendo's going to talk to him. Got a base hit last night in a pinch hitting role, but he has 4 hits and 7 pinch hit at bats. This is not a pinch hitting appearance because he went in as part of the double switch. They're still looking for the bunt.
And the bunt is down. Miller fires to third and safe. Slid to the outside portion of the bag.
Missed the tag.
And now Ensberg is going to have a conversation with the umpire over there.
Jim Reynolds is right there in perfect position, but watch his foot shuffle as we get there. He deadens the ball. They still hit it too hard. They had Kennedy out dead to right. And I think Ensberg is saying, look at, you know, he doesn't slide into the, he doesn't hit the base. He reaches with the base with his left hand, and you know, but I tagged him before then. So Loretta is going to come in as part of a double switch, as Miller couldn't retire a batter. And Brad Lidge.
Pitching change. We'll tell you about it when we come back. The Cardinals, a couple of solo home runs to start the 9th and trying to pick up more. It's 3-1.
Well, welcome back, as the Cardinals have broke through for 2 runs here in the top of the 9th, take a 3-1 lead. They have runners at first and third, nobody out, and Phil Garner's going to his exiled closer, Brad Lidge, which you saw he's 9 for 10 in save situations. He's been really pitching well of late, as he's thrown 6 consecutive scoreless innings in his last 5 outings. Last 19 outings, Lidge owns an ERA under 1. And he struck out 30 in 20 innings. So Miles, who had to go in to replace David Eckstein, who was hit in the elbow by a pitch, will get his second plate appearance. He's 2 for 7 off of Lidge. They've got the infield in. Brad Lidge's first pitch. He's been pitching very well of late, and you know he's always can strike out everybody. Fakes to third, looks to first. And you know the one thing, even if the Cardinals hold on and win this ball game, it could be a costly victory, with Rowan leaving this ball game with a tender hamstring and Eckstein with a bad elbow.
And Ludwig will wind up taking the bag at second, a stolen base.
You know, they're playing the infield in, so no one was back at second base. So why not?
Runners at second and third, nobody out in the ninth. Cardinals lead it 3-1.
This crowd kind of stunned.
One pitch. Swung on a miss by Miles. Nothing at 2. He's grounded out to second. Came in to replace David Eckstein, who hurt his elbow. He was hit by a pitch.
I'm sorry, this is Dan Wheeler. I'm thinking Lidge. So used to seeing Lidge in this setup role. It's kind of, you know, why would you? They haven't really been able to use Wheeler in save situations, but he is 9 for 10.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Miles strikes out.
Just like, you know, Lidge, this guy can go get it up there. He can blow you away. Set up outside, ball running out there. Not a very good at bat by Miles.
Up to Spezio now with 1 out. Runners at second and third. 3-1 St. Louis. Pujols on deck. And Spezio rips it down the right field line. That's a fair ball. 1 hop off the wall. 2 runs will score, and the Cardinals add to their lead. Scott Spezio, an RBI double to play 2, and it's 5-1. 4 runs by the Cardinals scored here in the ninth.
What a difference it makes. I mean, Cardinals had 3 hits this inning. The hit batsman, fielder's choice where they didn't get an out, and now Spezio punctuates the 2 back-to-back home runs with a double and 2 RBIs. Still only 1 out, and now they'll intentionally pass Albert.
He's 5 for 10 against Wheeler in his career.
I remember earlier in the season one time that Phil Garner left Lidge out there to kind of get beat up when he was the closer, and really a demoralizing kind of game for a guy that was struggling a little bit. That's why I was shocked you bring in your closer in this deal. I know Lidge has pitched a little bit, but you're already trailing. Why burn your closer, or why take the chance when you see so many times how a closer gets roughed up in non-save situations? Why give the mental edge to the Cardinals and know that you can get to this guy?
So a walk to Albert Pujols, intentional pass with 1 out. Of course, Albert Pujols has had some dramatic moments inside this ballpark against the aforementioned Brad Lidge. Does anybody get sick of seeing that?
Not if you're a Cardinal fan.
You got it.
If you're an Astros fan, there's kind of one more tear to shed.
Edmonds with runners at first and second. One out. That's it here in the ninth. And Edmonds a swing and a miss. Jimmy struck out. Walked 0 for 3.
Comes set here and kind of wiggled the glove and everything, not allowing anybody to see how he sets his pitch.
Edmonds out to center field. Pence going back, and he'll make the catch. Spezio tags up from second to third.
Good base running right there. Good to see that hustle in a 5-1 ball game. Never know. Wild pitch, some reason, somehow. Always strive to get at least 5 runs so the grand slam can't tie you.
How about this? Kip Wells will be the pinch hitter for Ryan Franklin. So Wells will hit, and outside of Wainwright, really can make a case for Kip Wells. Those two are the best hitting pitchers on the team.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I'm not sure about him defensively out there, the new Papa. I asked him about how's his daughter doing, and he had a big smile on his face. Said his mother-in-law and his wife, they drove down from St. Louis. His home is here in Houston, and so little baby's doing fine.
2 outs, runners at the corners. 5-1 St. Louis.
So we get to show it off to all the family and friends. And you got a pitcher up there, and Wheeler showing his respect by starting him off on a slider. We do have Esposito, the backup catcher, who's looking to make his major league debut at age 28.
Kip Wells starts against Sampson tomorrow. That game at on Big Fox, 2:55, and game on Sunday at 1:05 first pitch.
Milwaukee won tonight.
Wells out to shallow right field, and that's a hit. Kip Wells delivers. 6-1. Spezio scores.
Well, we talked about going from second base to third on the Spezio tagging up and going on Edmonds' fly ball to center. Gives you that 5-run cushion just off the end of the bat. Another slider, breaking ball. Spezio just can't get to it, and it just falls in there, and the Cardinals get their 5th run of the 9th inning. Started with Encarnacion's home run to lead this inning. His first of the year.
A couple of good cuts in this inning for Juan Encarnacion. His first home run. He had the big bases loaded double last night. Now this home run.
He missed all spring training. Really didn't do much in his rehab assignment, but starting to get into a groove now.
1-2 the count. 6-1, not a save situation. Two and two.
You know how I mean by leaving your start, bringing your closer in, and you're already down by a couple, and looked like a scoring opportunity. Of course, you're trying to stop the bleeding right there, but you got Rick White, you got Lidge, you got different guys to go out there and do that. Well, the Cardinals have success against their closer. and all of a sudden they feel like they can get to him the next time Garner brings him in a save situation. That's what they feel about Lidge. You know, they know it's going to be a good battle, but they know they've had success against him and they don't fear him.
Runner from first off with the pitch. Here comes a 3-2. Ball 4. And the 11th man to come to the plate will be Gary Bennett. And remember, it was Encarnacion and Bennett that started the inning with back-to-back solo home runs.
Well, and I've seen Bennett hit a grand slam before.
Chicago Cubs and in spring training.
Memphis.
Right.
What did you forget about? But what a weekend he had against the Cubs in St. Louis.
Chance for Bennett to have 5 RBIs in 1 inning. Pitch up and in.
Afternoon game tomorrow. There'll be a minimum of 20 pitches thrown by Wheeler, and maybe more. Looks like Russ Springer will get the bottom of the 9th inning, try to close this out for the Cardinals.
One ball, 1 strike. Saw you saying before, Al, that Cardinals a lot of times will pitch the outside portion of the plate, not go in enough. Cardinals pretty comfortable tonight in the batter's box.
Oswalt's the kind of guy, and isn't it kind of amazing? Most of the time, guys that win pitch inside or both sides of the plate. And the hitter can go up there and forget about the inner part of the plate and just look out over the middle. And they get real comfortable.
One ball, 2 strikes. Curveball fouled back.
Hits, a couple walks, hit batsman in this inning.
Bases loaded for Gary Bennett. 2 outs and a 1-2 pitch. Bennett rips it down the left field line. That's a fair ball. 2 runners at least are going to score. They're going to hold up Encarnacion, and Bennett drives in 3 now in the inning. A bases loaded double and a solo home run, and the Cardinals have busted this wide open. 10 hits on the night, and it's now 8-1, and more fans start to head for the exits.
Just go out there, pitch up over the middle of the plate, and Phil Garner heard a little bit of heat this afternoon because he did not have Loretta in the lineup after a 4-hit night. We'll hear some more about some of his decisions in this game.
Another pitching change. That is
Mulder
Mulder coming in from the bullpen for Houston. Kennedy will be the 3rd Cardinal to hit twice in the inning. Big night for Juan and a big night for Bennett here in the 9th. 8-1 Cardinals. There's Brian Mulder. It's been a rough season for him in his 9 appearances. ERA close to 8. And opponents hitting .365 against him. Runners at 2nd and 3rd for the Cardinals. And the batter is Adam Kennedy.
Mulder's allowed 11 earned runs his last 5 appearances. Lose 10 straight games. You win last night. A close game until the top of the ninth.
Two for 10 against Muller.
On base a couple times with a walk and a hit batsman. 0 for 2 in the night.
Hit batsman was in this inning. Following the back-to-back solo home runs. No balls and 2 strikes.
Trevor Miller hitting. Second Cardinal, and Kennedy obviously okay, but a lot of concern about David Eckstein when he was hit on the elbow. Had to leave the game.
The 0-2 pitch. Strikeout of Kennedy. Long time ago to start this top of the ninth. It was Juan Encarnacion with a no-doubter. That broke open a 1-1 game. Gary Bennett would follow that with a home run of his own. The Cardinals can hold on tonight. They will be in second place all alone in the Central Division, 6.5 back of Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'm sorry to sing. Cincinnati looks like they're going to win. They'll guys at the bottom, but how about Bennett? How about Encarnacion? Both picking up their first home runs of the year at the right time. And then their teammates go out and give a little bit of a cushion. And right now we've got a 7-run lead for Tony trying to get the final 3 outs. Russ Springer, who the last 3 years have pitched right here for the Astros, will get the job done.
Chance for the Cardinals to improve to 23-29 on the season. First pitch by Russ Springer to start the bottom of the ninth is a strike to Adam Everett.
Let's go out there and throw strikes. You know, these Astros got a lot of pride, and they're going to try and do everything they can to come back against one of their good buddies and former teammates, but that 9th inning had to take a lot out of them.
Everett here, and then Osmus and Loretta. Little floater that Miles is going back out on, and he'll make the catch.
It sounded like a clunker off the bat, didn't it?
Sure did. Cardinals bullpen has been a bright spot this year. Overall, they've had a very good bullpen, with a healthy Jason Isringhausen being the centerpiece of what's happened with that bullpen.
So much of it just is centered on what your closer does, but you can't have an effective closer unless you have a couple effective setup men, and Franklin and Springer have done that. The lefties have complemented them. And remember at one time when Josh Kenny went out, we never want to forget about him, but those were big shoes to fill. And such a tough break for him to go down with Tommy John surgery after everything he experienced last year, and roller coaster career, and then gets to the pinnacle, and then in spring training ends up getting injured, but he'll be back.
Cardinals are 22-29. If they hold on, there's 23 wins. You factor in the loss of a guy like Chris Carpenter and what he would mean to this team, because he's missed probably 5 to 7 starts. You figure he wins half of those. And you're right in the thick of things.
He's probably missing
7 to 10, maybe.
No, I think most of these guys are coming up on 11 or 12 starts.
Okay.
So
there you go. Figure he wins half of those, and you're right at 500. One and two, the count on Osmus.
Kip Wells will be making his 12th start, so he's missed 11 starts. He would have been pitching tonight. You're right there, aren't you?
And a strikeout of Osmus. Houston right now is just lifeless.
This is Loretta, who you said Loretta's just been a phenomenal hitter wearing the Astros uniform, had 4 hits against last night. Elected to either put Ensberg there or didn't want to play at Biggio. It's a tough situation, but he's got a .378 average as an Astro. And this is his second stint with the Astros.
Check swing and a foul ball.
He was 4 for 4 last night, his third 4-hit game of the season. He has, in yesterday's game, the first hit was number 1500.
Popped up right side and out of play.
And Retta started for second base in the American League All-Star game last year. With San Diego in 04, National League Silver Slugger Award, hit .335, 16 home runs, 76 RBIs, by far his best season. Hitting almost .350, .383 on the road, .378 as an Astro.
Cardinals strike away. That's 2-2. Makes you wonder why he's bounced around a little bit. Kind of numbers that he's had.
Yeah, last couple years he's always been a good hitter. Started with Milwaukee. Can play all the infield positions. So a valuable guy to have.
Foul back again. Foul back and out of play. The Cardinals a chance to take this first game. They're strike away, and then tomorrow having Kip Wells on the mound.
It's not often they win the first game of the series either.
Milwaukee did win today. Beat Florida 8-5. 2-2 pitch. 3-2. Cardinals with 7 runs in the top of the ninth, and they lead it 8-1. Fly ball out to right. This should do it. Encarnacion makes the catch, and the Cardinals win it. A final of 8-1. It was a 1-1 game heading into the ninth. Encarnacion and Bennett back-to-back solo home runs, and the Cardinals picked up 7 in the inning. And our final 8-10-0 for the Cardinals, 1-5-1 for Houston. Budweiser Player of the Game is coming up next. Ryan Franklin gets the win. He's now 2-0. Qualls is 4-3. And the Cardinals win this game 8-1 as they get 10 hits and they pick up 7 runs in that ninth inning. And you look at Juan Encarnacion or Gary Bennett, either one of those guys could have been our player of the game.
Well, a lot of them could. You know, you could pick, how about the starting pitcher Wainwright, goes 7 innings, only 1 run. But Gary Bennett, who's had to fill in with the injury of Molina, so he's caught every inning since Tuesday's 4th inning. He had 3 hits last night, a couple RBIs. In the 9th inning, he hits his first home run of the year. Then he gets a double and scores 2 more, so 3 RBIs on the night. and do an exceptional job handling the pitching staff on top of it.
So Gary Bennett, our player of the game. Big win for the Cardinals in game 1 of this 3-game series. We've got much more to come here from Houston, but that's it for now. Let's send it back to the studio in St. Louis.
Dan, thank you very much. We'll get you right back to you in just a little bit in Houston for some more comments on our post-game. Budweiser Cardinals Live is straight ahead, an interview with the star of the game and Tony La Russa's comments, plus, of course, Bernie Miklasz here to join us and break down the game, and Jim Edmonds teaches Jim Hayes how to play Tal's Hill in Houston. That'll be interesting. Cardinals Live is coming up next right here on FSN Midwest.